Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Texans for the Arts weekly advocacy update. My name is Chris Kiley. I'm the Associate Director of Texans for the Arts. As usual, we're so thrilled to have you all joining us. I'm here with my partner in crime and superior, and the Executive Director of Texans for the Arts, as well as Lily Weiss, the Executive Director of the Dallas Cultural Arts District, and we have a lot of great stuff to talk about today. So with that, I'll throw it over to you, Ann.
Great. Thank you, Chris. We're just chatting about how much we love this opportunity to reach you, our members, and also anybody on Facebook watching the work of Texans for the Arts. We use this weekly Wednesday update as an opportunity to keep you up to date on what's happening in the Texas legislative session, and then also hear from our members around the state, work that they're working on, and things that are very relevant and timely. So speaking of relevant and timely and the Texas legislative session, we are about a month out. The last day of the Texas legislative session is May 31st. And the one thing the Texas legislature must do is pass a balanced budget. In fact, that's the only thing they have to constitutionally do. And that's a big chore, and they spend all session working on that, and along with passing lots of bills along the way. And so where we stand in the budget process right now is that the House has approved SB1, the Senate budget, and its budget. The Senate has approved its budget. They are both balanced budgets. And now the two shall meet in what is called conference, or the conference committee, and conferees. And this is a time where the House and the Senate, represented by 5 senators and 5 representatives, and that is the 5 senators are Senator Jane Nelson from Flower Mound, Senator Joan Huffman from the Houston area, Senator Nichols from Jacksonville, and Senator Luis Colchorst from Brenham, and Senator Larry Taylor from Pearland. And then on the House side, we have Representative Greg Bonin, we have Representative Joe Capriglione, we have Representative Mary Gonzalez, Representative Wally, and Representative Terry Wilson. And these 10 will be meeting. They will be presenting an overview of the different articles that all of the budget falls in. The Texas Commission on the Arts, the state agency, falls under Article 1. And that is the really important critical place where we are looking at 2 budgets that do not match, and we want them to match. You know that we've been listening and talking all session long about the importance of funding for cultural districts. These are cultural districts designated by the Texas Commission on the Arts. There are 48 cultural districts now, and about 9 more applying. What's really important right now is that the House budget has $10 million, which is the same amount we had last session. We weren't asking for more, we were asking for level funding. Pleased to see that in the House budget. The Senate budget currently has a cut to $6 million over the biennium, and we are working hard on our advocacy messaging, as many of you did with us during our Arts Advocacy Summit Day in February, to have the House and Senate come together in conference and increase the full amount to $10 million. That is our focus right now on the conference committee. If those are any names that I mentioned that you know, then get in touch with those senators and representatives and say, please support the TCA Cultural District Grant Program. So that's really the primary thing that we're working on. That will be taking place over the next few weeks, the conference committee. The other thing, one key bill we've been following, Senate Bill 1655, is called the County Hot Reporting Bill. And that mirrors a bill that we passed 2 sessions ago, Senate Bill 1221. For those of you active and engaged with receiving hotel occupancy tax funding, Senate Bill 1221 requires communities to report their hot tax receipts and how those are given away. And that information is on the comptroller's website and also at our hottoolkit.com. And it's really important for us to also know how counties distribute and collect hot tax. So Senate Bill 1655 this session will require those reporting, and that just helps us a little bit more try to navigate the waters to find resources for the arts through the hotel occupancy tax. So we still have a busy last few weeks of the session, and we'll continue to keep you posted both through our newsletters and also through our weekly Wednesday update. Speaking of cultural districts, we have a guest today, as Chris introduced, Lily Cabatu Weiss, who is not only the executive director of the Dallas Arts District, but also a member of Texans for the Arts, our board of directors, one of our really valued, all of our board members are valued. We have a 36-member board. And also what's key right now in terms of TCA cultural districts, not only important in the legislature for funding, But USA Today has a competition for the 10 best cultural districts across the United States. And Texas has 2 nominated, both the Dallas Arts District and Arts District Houston. So we love all of our children, all of our cultural districts, and have been actively voting on this competition. And Lily can give a progress report as to when we'll find out, but we're really proud of the cultural districts that got nominated, and it speaks very highly to the work that arts and culture are doing across the state. So I'm going to turn over to Lily to not only talk about the Dallas Arts District, but also they're wrapping up April 2021 as Dallas Arts Month and what that means and why that's so important to the Dallas community. Lily, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Chris. And certainly I am more than thrilled that 2 cultural districts in the state of Texas, and by the way, the state of Texas was the only state that had 2 cultural districts nominated out of, so that's 2 out of 20. The actual great news will be publicly announced with USA Today's 10 Best on Monday at noon on May the 7th. So we'll all cross our fingers, and no matter what happens, I feel honored that we were nominated and that Houston was nominated. And all I can say is the arts are worth it in the state of Texas. Certainly in Dallas, and I want to say it was back in 2013 that our mayor at the time, Mayor Mike Rawlings, started Dallas Arts Week in the month of April. Shortly after that, what we realized is we couldn't highlight everyone in a week. So Mayor Rawlings made it Dallas Arts Month, and Dallas Arts Month traditionally happens in April every year. And as you know, and as we know, April in 2020, we had to cancel. We weren't quite up to speed with virtual programming, and we certainly were shut down from in-person events at all. So we went on a hiatus for 2020, but we came back strong, wanting to make sure that in 2021, we would do a hybrid version of Dallas Arts Month. So not only were there virtual programs, there were many in-person programming that has gotten a lot of attention. And certainly the Dallas Arts District went into an in-person event. We did it on April 17th at Annette Strauss Square, the outdoor facility of AT&T Performing Arts Center. It was a free event, and we featured 9 different arts companies in 2 different programs. What was wonderful about that evening is the emotions that were running, not just on stage, but through the audience. And what we're reminded of is that many of those companies, it was the first time in 15 months that they had been on a stage at a live in-person event. And when it comes right down to it, we are in the business of exhibiting and performing. So it's important to put the spotlight back on the arts. And it's appropriate right now to join Anne as she's giving you the update on the 87th legislative session that we have to, both locally and statewide, we have to put the spotlight back on the arts. One, because the community needs it. We need it for healing. We need it for community building. But one of the top areas and pluses of the arts is that we're a business, and basically we are an economic engine as this state begins to recover and our local economies begin to recover. There's nothing better than that, and I am thrilled to have always been a part of the arts community, and I'm honored to be one of the board members at Texans for the Arts. I will tell you this, many of us don't know all the details of advocating, but Texans for the Arts, that's what they do. So we invest our time and willingness to spread the word and actually to improve all the programming throughout the state of Texas so that the experts who are Texans for the Arts can actually go in with these meetings and have the ammunition to say we matter. that the arts matter in Texas. And I will say that, as Anne told us at the beginning of this session, early on, Dallas Arts District collaborated with DACAC and TACA to do an internal survey of Dallas, of really the city of Dallas arts organizations. We did 3 different surveys, and they were during the pandemic. So it was all the 3rd survey, which came out very timely. We finished that survey, and it was to take all the arts organizations from March the 13th through November 30th. And in doing that, the data from that, just in the city of Dallas, showed over $95 million in revenue losses, over 1,000 jobs lost, and over 3 million attendance patrons not coming to events. That hit the front page of the Dallas Morning News, and in living color, it was huge. A sad news breaking event, but I will say that our contingent from Flower Mound actually brought it to a session at the 87th legislature and told us, and basically opened up this front page saying, look at this, you need to pay attention to the arts. So that's why, I mean, while I'm a cheerleader for the arts and culture all over globally, I'm a real cheerleader for it in Texas. And I am, it doesn't get much better than Texans for the Arts. And while I have learned every year, when Anne kind of pushes me out there saying, be an advocacy captain. And I don't know how to do that, is what I tell Anne. She goes, that's okay. We'll teach you along the way. So what I'm doing is I'm encouraging all of you who are listening, who really want to get involved with advocating for something that is worth it. It's worth it for your children and education. It's worth it in your communities. Please join Texans for the Arts.
Lily, you are an incredible cheerleader, and you will never get away with saying you don't know what to say in a legislative office, because your power of your remarks are so strong and so appreciated and so spot on. So, and I think that as for many of you who have participated in our advocacy day and gone to legislative visits, we can all be a little bit nervous sometimes when we walk in to meet with a legislator or their staff, but they are eager to hear from us, and your voice as a constituent matters. And the people who are involved in the arts are the very best people because they can speak straight from the heart. And you live, eat, breathe, sleep, dance, everything, arts, your life every day. And that is contagious. So that's really, really important. I think I will share too that former Mayor Mike Rawlings, who did start Dallas Arts Advocacy Week, now month, he was honored, I think it was 2018 in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Americans for the Arts, Art Mayor of the Year of a big city. And I just happened to be in DC when he got that award, and was very, very, it was a moving experience to be able to have a Texas mayor there. And he commented on how his daughter is an artist, and whatever that connection is that draws you to the arts, that is really important. And we often start out our legislative visits with trying to find out what the connection is. And people always think, oh, I don't have anything to do with the arts, but I played trombone in the marching band for 4 years. It's like there are connections where the arts really have touched sort of the heart and soul. And as you said, we need that. We just need it more than ever. We need it for ourselves, our communities, our healing. And again, as you said, economic reality. Why are people going to start traveling again, and where they're going to go? They're going to go places where there's arts and culture, outdoors, right? Where we can be a little bit apart as we get vaccinated. But having these opportunities, I went to my first live performance not too long ago, and it just was kind of this chilling and wonderfully, moving experience just to be together. So
I definitely agree. And I will mention that traditionally, obviously, the Office of Arts and Culture is the main team that helps us celebrate and plan Dallas Arts Month, but they also do annually. When we do this, only 2020 is the only year we had to cancel. But the most recent event was Monday night, and it's called Creative Conversations. And this particular particular topic was art and justice. And there were 5 panelists, and one was our district attorney, Judge Crusoe. And I will tell you, not only did I learn so much from that, but as we're moving through this recovery time and the pandemic and moving into a very grateful period that we want to celebrate the arts, we have to realize that it actually is not just art for art's sake. It is arts inside the community, and this base of how does it heal and how do we communicate it and how do kids get involved with arts and justice. And it was really a brilliant conversation, and it's those conversations that need to be had throughout all of our communities. I told Anne we are full force right now in terms of a lot of local elections going on, but what we are doing is advocating for the arts. And so as Anne updates us on the federal funds that are coming down to the state of Texas, to local communities. We actually met with our council member for our district, District 14, and he basically told us he will fight for a little bit of it being able to come to the arts, and that's all we can ask for. We just don't want to be cut. We don't want the budgets to be cut on the backs of the arts organizations.
Well, and that's a really important way for us to wrap up our brief conversation. We could always go on here. Next week, we will be speaking to the American Relief and American Rescue Plan, or ARP. It is this was the $1.9 trillion federal approach across the country, with about $48 billion coming to the state of Texas. It will be allocated in very different ways. The state itself will have over 16 billion, and municipalities over 50,000 will have $10 billion coming to the state of Texas. And those decisions are being made now. You just mentioned, Lily, you're already meeting with city council members. That's happening. So next week we'll be talking about, and we're encouraging you, we have a banner on our webpage, texansforthearts.com, that says American Rescue Plan. Click on that. There's sample letters, there's PowerPoints to learn more about it. You can look up how much city money is coming to your city, your county, and to start a conversation with your municipal leadership as to how some of that can be used for the arts. The requirement is, the minimum requirement is that you had negative impact, economic impact directly related to the COVID-19. And for anybody who's received arts funding or hotel occupancy tax funding, that, let alone the loss that Lily, you had mentioned in terms of ticket sales and attendees and all those aspects. So next Wednesday at 4, we'll be chiming in a little more instruction on how to really push, as you said, in your community. Because if we don't make the noise about why the arts are so important, it's not going to happen. It's really going to take all of us in our community, each one of our communities, whether you're a small town, a rural community, or one of the major cities. It takes us to be able to speak up. And that's why our members are so important, because you're really part of that conversation. So without further ado, thank you so much, Lily, for joining us. And it's always a pleasure. We really like to honor and celebrate our board members they're all executive director, executive leadership, who have busy day jobs and then really contribute and bring so much important sort of visionary thinking to the work that we do. So thank you. We're excited. On Monday, we're going to be all ears listening to see who the 10 lucky winners are for the cultural districts. I'm really proud that Texas has 2 nominees. Shout out to the Texas Commission on the Arts and their executive director, Gary Gibbs, for having this program, and what a robust program it is, and growing. So thank you all again. We look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday at 4, and we will continue to keep you apprised, and we'll be talking about the American Rescue Plan. Thank you.